The chosen one. They constructed a robot inspired by your ideas. Are you prepared to hear this? The universe's energy reverberated in your spirit, inspiring them to create a creature based on your essence. You are not a normal person. Your journey, your fate, your frequency is so strong that just glancing at you shapes not only people, but even robots. This is not a random occurrence. This is a sign of fate. Your presence, vision, and enthusiasm have created such a wave that even technology now carries your imprint. You are the pioneer of ascension, thus you are seeing the birth of a legend today. Your presence, inspiration, and adventure are now felt not just in the spiritual plane, but also in the physical world. The chosen one. I ask you now, are you ready to embrace your power? Are you prepared to accept this call? Then post in the comments right now, for your energy has now beyond the limits of mankind. The cosmic tides have moved, and reality is no longer the same. An ancient process has started, separating those ready to transcend from those who will stay stuck in the familiar. There is no randomness about this. The decision is made before your conscious mind even realizes it. Your body is already responding to the fundamental shift taking place. The dizziness, the disquiet, the weight bearing down on you. This isn't just discomfort. It's the sense of an invisible power rewriting your whole nature. You awoke to an unsettling weirdness. The earth underneath you seemed less solid, as if gravity had temporarily released its grasp. Thoughts that were previously crisp and orderly now float like whispers on a distant breeze, refusing to form the way they used to. Sensations reverberate through your spine, delicate vibrations that seem to come from beyond the tangible. What you are witnessing is neither an illusion or a mental trick. The distinct change in perception marks the barrier between realms. The cosmic event that occurred was more than just a display of light and shadow. It was a moment of convergence, a synchronization of invisible forces that reset the flow of time and energy. A curtain has been shed, and what previously appeared unbreakable is now unraveling. The pulse of existence itself has changed, and your consciousness is extending beyond its previous bounds. Everything you thought was stable is in change. Colors have depth that wasn't there previously. Sound reverberates strangely, and time itself seems both stretched and squeezed at once. This is the unfolding of a huge plan, which only a few will notice. The revolution going place is more than just internal. It is rewriting the very script of your song cycles that has held you tied, as well as tearing down obsolete agreements that are dispersing like mist at morning. The old structure no longer carries weight, and the forces that formerly held you back are being overcome. The change is clear, a tear in the fabric of what you formerly thought to be reality. This is the tipping moment, the unraveling of the illusions that have ruled your life for far too long. This alteration isn't subtle. It is a full reorganization, a force so powerful that your physical body strains to adjust to the feelings pouring through you. Pressure in your brain, spasms in your limbs, and dizziness. These are indications that your system is improving itself to align with a higher level of being. This is not a sickness. This is evolution in action. The pain is just the friction of transition, the loss of an obsolete self that can no longer exist in the new frequency. Despite this, a new sense of stability is emerging. The anarchy is not limitless. It paves the path for unprecedented levels of harmony. As this energy achieves equilibrium inside you, a new level of insight will emerge. You will begin to recognize your role in the unfolding. Adding pattern. This shift's aim is gradually becoming clear. This is the point at which a new self emerges from the ashes of the previous one. If you are experiencing an excess of divine love in your heart, now is the moment to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and donating $200 or more. This wonderful gift will affect not just your life, but also the souls of countless others. Each of you has a holy position in God's great purpose via this platform, and your giving will provide fruit for our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to bring glory to God's kingdom. You were meant to do much bigger things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. This change is not for everyone. It is neither a global awakening or a summons for everyone to hear. This transition is exact, purposeful, and reserved only for individuals who are always intended to transcend the illusion. Those who hold inside them the blueprint for a better life. Those whose essence matches the frequency of growth. Many people saw the cosmic event, but just a handful felt its full impact. This is not an open-door transition. It is a refining, a crystallization of those who were always destined to succeed. The body's protest against its prior condition is the first obvious sign that something inside is changing. Waves of anxiety arrive unexpectedly. An internal fire starts without explanation or weariness, striking without notice. The physical form is rejecting its previous makeup, freeing itself of the remnants of outmoded energy. For years, possibly eons, it has borne the weight of stagnant vibrations, bound to a planet near the end of its cycle. Every fiber is now engaged in an accelerated release, releasing what is no longer needed, shedding the vestiges of a life that has served its function. This isn't a disorder. It's a restructure. On a cellular level, the basic base of physical being is changing to suit a new way of life. Then comes the overpowering want to walk away, to escape the commotion of the everyday world. Familiar faces seem distant, talks appear inconsequential, and social encounters drain rather than nurture the soul. It's as if everything that used to seem natural has become a source of irritation. This does not constitute a rejection of others. It is a required retreat to reset people who are still stuck in the previous world. Unknowingly, they interrupt the refining by processing their presence, resulting in energetic interference. The divide is not an act of exclusion, but rather a space for change. The place to listen, accept, and absorb the massive waves of change that are sweeping across the awareness. When darkness falls, the curtain between worlds vanishes, exposing a secret structure of reality. Sleep no longer feels like rest, but rather a journey through unknown universes. Unfamiliar locations evoke an unsettling feeling of familiarity. Encounters with beings, symbols, and messages create a quiet discourse across realms. There's no misunderstanding, only a knowing. A profound intuitive understanding that something big is being shared. Patterns arise. Sequences repeat. A holy language emerges from the depths of the mind. These aren't transient fantasies. These are instructions, codes intended to activate dormant channels inside the psyche. Consider a vast old river that has long fed the lush valleys of your life. Imagine that river, which once ran with irresistible power and purpose, gradually receding to expose fresh, virgin earth underneath. This is the natural, divinely intended process that is occurring in your life right now. A holy revelation that removes what no longer serves, paving the way for a new season of plenty and promise. In this holy moment, the traces of your former personality and the old patterns that have long characterized your life are melting in a meaningful and purposeful manner. The old existence must eventually come to an end. Long-standing relationships that previously gave comfort and familiarity are starting to lose their hold, as if their time has come to rest. Relationships that you may have held on to for decades. The rose you thought was vital to your identity, and the initiatives that once ignited your heart, now look shrunken, as if their vigor has dwindled. In the broad light of a fresh morning, this dissolution is not a sad goodbye to something beloved. Rather, it is a wonderful act of release, a heavenly cleaning away of garbage, of an outmoded identity that no longer corresponds to your genuine purpose. You see, every tie, commitment, and desire that once seemed necessary has served its function in your path. These components of your life, like the autumn leaves that fall gently from their trees, are organically detaching themselves, allowing the nascent spirit of regeneration to emerge. There is a beauty in this disintegration, a grace in how the old pieces of your life give up their grip, enabling your soul to ascend unhindered. What remains is a blank canvas ready to be painted with the brilliant hues of a new, more enlightened chapter, one about optimism, progress, and divine reawakening. This shift is defined not by loss, but by the exquisite liberation from the constraints that formerly bound you. It's as if a weight has been removed, a burden that had quietly tethered you in a world that was gradually fading. Now, as you stand on the verge of this enormous transformation, you are asked to see the amazing shedding of what was and embrace the promise of what is to come. The procedure is both unexpected and compassionate. The old constructions, although familiar and often pleasant, cannot sustain the life energy that is now pouring inside you. They are let go with a loving finality, leaving just the required pieces to serve as the basis for the new frequency that resonates deeply inside your soul. Every location you used to call home, every position you performed in life's drama, and every connection that formerly held your life together is suddenly changing. These components of your existence, which were developed within the limits of a previous age of your being, are being gently retired. Their function has been fulfilled, and they are now gently standing aside to make way for the dazzling energy of a newer, more vibrant paradigm. The environment around you is not being destroyed. It's being reborn. Your outmoded constructions are disintegrating like mist during the break of day, replaced with a new reality that is considerably more wide and in harmony with divine truth. We are in the middle of this change. You may experience an initial sensation of pain, a physical and emotional stirring that indicates a deep inward realignment is occurring. It's as if every cell in your body is adjusting to a new beat. When you release old frequencies that no longer resonate with the heavenly plan, you may experience times of doubt in which the usual outlines of your existence blur into a hazy landscape. But don't be afraid of this metamorphosis, for it is not a decline into chaos, but rather an elevation to a sphere of greater purpose and clarity. The natural order of things dictates that before anything new may bloom, what has came before must first die. This is the divine rule of development, a holy writing inscribed in the stars. Breaking away from previous relationships, roles, and identities is a creative act rather than a destructive one. It is a tremendous transformation that prepares you for a spiritual rebirth, a rekindling of hope, and a resurrection of your own distinctive light. Each eroding link, collapsing connection, and fading pursuit serves as a stepping stone put out by the divine to lead you to a future full of limitless opportunity and grace. Consider the metaphor of a mature tree in a sprawling, bright forest. Over the years, its bark has endured storms, and its branches have supported the weight of many seasons. Nature, on the other hand, need rejuvenation at some point. The old bark peels away, exposing sensitive, colorful layers underneath. This is not indicative of weakness or degeneration. It demonstrates the tree's endurance and unshakable devotion to new development. Just as the elements of your life that have served you well up to this point are gently moving aside, giving birth to a newer existence that is more in line with your greatest purpose. Every ending and beginning is divinely timed. The dissolving of long-held attachments and the disintegration of outmoded roles happens exactly when your soul is ready to accept a higher degree of awareness. It is a subtle, almost undetectable transformation that, when fully acknowledged, carries with it a tremendous sensation of freedom and rejuvenation. The old is not forcefully removed from you. Instead, it gradually fades into the background, freeing you to go on into a life brimming with the energy of limitless promise. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace come upon you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine purpose and is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke, our roots, like those of the huge oak tree, are firmly entrenched in God's universal truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you click the Super Thank You button and contribute $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold as you go through this holy change. Trust that every transition is divinely arranged for your best interests. The breakdown of the past is not a punishment, but rather a treasured invitation to develop, progress, and move into the fullness of your potential. Every fraying tie, fading attachment, and faded goal is a sign that you are being gently guided away from what no longer serves you and into a future in which your genuine nature may shine with uninhibited splendor. Allow yourself to be receptive to the benefits that come with this divine realignment. Accept the freedom that comes with letting go of the past and accept the bountiful promise of the future. Recognize that this process is as natural as the changing seasons, and that just as the earth renews itself each year, so will your soul flourish in the light of this new age. With each passing day, you are urged to find your true self, a being of light, purpose, and unwavering power. Do not cling to the remnants of a past period. Instead, appreciate the fortitude required to let go of the past and respect the limitless possibilities that await. The renovation of your inner landscape is a divine directive. In this transforming process, take courageous steps toward a life of honesty, purpose, and spiritual richness. You aren't losing anything valuable. You're developing a stronger connection to the divine wellspring that flows inside and around you. Every piece of the past that fades away is replaced with a richer, more brilliant tapestry of life, made from the threads of divine love, unlimited hope, and endless opportunity. Embrace this holy clearing, because it is the beginning of a life in which you may walk fearlessly in the light of your destiny, free of the shackles of an outmoded past. Every deteriorating relationship, fading commitment, and abandoned goal is really a stepping stone on the route to a more expansive, fulfilled life. The transition isn't a loss. It is the ultimate release, a heavenly gift that prepares you to enjoy the limitless joys of living in perfect harmony with the universe's everlasting rhythms. The subtle blossoming of this transition is calling you to break aside from the familiar and embrace the energizing promise of a new world. It is a plea to break free from the constraints of an outdated narrative, to let go of the responsibilities that have held you down, and fly toward a future in which your soul may blossom. The old life, with its regular routines and familiar patterns, is giving way to a lively, dynamic existence that is as boundless as the sky above and this holy interchange. You are not left with empty, but with a rich field of possibilities waiting to be planted with the seeds of divine knowledge, hope, and steadfast trust. This is your opportunity to shine, to overcome the limitations of a past that no longer serves you, and to accept the brilliant promise hidden amid the breakdown of the old is. However, this is just the precursor to a great emergence, a rebirth that honors the genuine core of who you were intended to be. Allow this transformative ocean to fill you with the serene knowledge that every step you take is directed by an infinite love and a timeless purpose. The rebirth that is taking place is a monument to your spirit's tenacity and a sign of the wonderful gifts that lie ahead. May you find comfort in the beauty of this divine process, and may your heart be filled with the deep, enduring delight of knowing you are precisely where you are supposed to be, standing on the verge of a new era, ready to embrace the fullness of your divine destiny with bravery, grace, and unflinching faith in the promises of eternity. And then, at the heart of it all, there comes a revelation too great to ignore, a purpose long buried under the weight of distractions, suddenly emerging with indisputable clarity, a pull towards something huge, something urgent, something that transcends the confines of personal ambition. It is not a transitory concept, but rather a firm conviction. A cry that has existed for a long time has now been magnified to such an extent that it cannot be ignored. Every excuse that formerly postponed the inevitable disappears, and the comfort of being little fades. The draw toward what was always intended to be is persistent, and to resist would be to reject the core of life. The moment of choice has come, and uncertainty melts away like a whisper in the wind. Those who allow the shift to take place will experience an unshakable conviction from inside, not the restless grip of the intellect, but the deep, unchanging resonance of the soul. The quest for confirmation ends. They don't search for signals, they become them. The last traces of ambiguity vanish, like shadows devoured by the first rays of morning. This is not a climb that requires effort or struggle. It is the inevitable rise of individuals whose consciousness has grown beyond the confines of the old world. The scenery stays the same. However, everything is different because perception has evolved beyond recognition. Imagine a brilliant daybreak breaking over a peaceful meadow, each golden ray a subtle reminder of a long-awaited destiny. What has happened before you is considerably more than a fleeting moment in time. It is a divine appointment, a holy portal that has opened to welcome individuals whose hearts are ready for change. This is not an event defined by the sum of your previous accomplishments, but by the spirit of your readiness to embark on a new life. The remaining uncertainties that formerly held you back are fading away, and the weight of uncertainty is gradually lifting. Similar to morning, June under the warm beams of the sun. In this beautiful turning point, the emphasis is no longer on latent skills or unexplored potential. It's about taking that big step forward with total faith. The invitation is clear, unyielding, and promises a future tailored just to you. A great question has emerged, shining as brilliantly as the first light of day. Will you accept this heavenly invitation and truly embrace the destiny that has been provided for you? This is not about fulfilling a level of worthiness set by worldly expectations, but about opening your heart to the reality that you are already favored by a greater design. You are being given the opportunity to follow a path that leads to spiritual success and inner satisfaction. It's as if a glorious light has been cast before you, and every step you take brings you closer to a life of plenty, elegance, and joy. A life that embodies the promise of divine favor. It's time to spread God's blessings by pressing the super thank you button on YouTube. With a $100 payment or more, you may help him carry out his plan and become a part of this heavenly mission. Every contribution symbolizes God's generosity, and I think it will return to you enormously, far above your expectations. Remember that his protection and blessing are with you at all times, including your donations. You become a part of his divine plan. You are a powerful, dazzling entity, as steadfast as his huge rock. Witness God's marvels. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit, and light up the world with confidence and bravery. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord lead you. Friends, when you stand at this critical crossroads, remember the words of hope and certainty that remind us that every obstacle, every setback was only a stepping stone to this moment. The traces of your former constraints are fading, making space for an inner power that has long been longing to emerge. The ambiguity that has before darkened your view is beginning to dissipate, replaced with the clarity that comes from realizing that now is your season to rise. The experience you are asked to have is not a faraway possibility. It is a current reality, an opportunity to reset and realign your life with a greater purpose. It's like a subtle but seductive appeal from a loving parent, encouraging you to leave behind the responsibilities of the past. Your hesitancy is not a sign of weakness, but rather a normal element of the process that will soon be replaced with a firm determination to go on with a clear and open heart. Imagine the comfort of knowing that every choice you've taken, every adversity you've faced has led you to this point. There is a great beauty to the way life develops, like a skilled painter revealing the hidden intricacies of a huge work, a stroke at a time. Now is the moment to put your confidence in that artistry. Believe that you have been selected as the recipient of a heritage of heavenly favors. Every step, every breath demonstrates the holy potential that exists inside you. This moment requires a complete surrender to the extraordinary possibilities that await. It is an invitation to let go of all the old patterns that have held you back so that the spirit of regeneration might fill every area of your existence. The past is behind you, and it has served its purpose. What lies ahead is a future filled with optimism and assurance. A future in which you will live your life to the fullest as it was originally intended. During this period of awareness, the choice is not decided for you. It is a personal journey of walking into the light that calls to every brave heart and soul that dares to dream of a life reinvented is being gently prompted to rise. The decision before you is as obvious as the unclouded sky on a bright, pristine morning. Accept the promise of a fresh beginning, or stay where you are and let the day pass without embracing the heavenly chance. This transforming encounter serves as a reminder that the road to spiritual satisfaction is both accessible and welcoming. The choice you make today will not only shape your personal path, but will also inspire people around you as you enter this new chapter. Remember that every step taken with trust leads to a future in which miracles are the norm. Every day is a celebration of life's many gifts. So, my friend, when you feel that stirring in your heart and sense the call of a greater purpose, ask yourself, are you prepared to completely embrace the destiny that has always been yours? The light is gleaming, the door is open, and the path to a life of heavenly favor welcomes you with open arms. Accept this moment with the belief that you are meant for greatness, and let your soul to fly into the glorious future that is now unfolding.